555, your friends in high places. Call at 954-920-7688.
I have a passion for the environment. That's why I mountain bike. I love being in the woods, on near vertical trails. I relish the challenge when I can appreciate the best nature has to offer. So it was only natural that I would choose a career in the elements, where I can make a difference. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. We monitor commercial vessels, making sure our ports and waterways are safe and clean from oil or other hazardous material. We patrol our fisheries and protect marine wildlife and their habitats. With all we do, it's about protecting America. This is a lot like mountain biking. It's always exciting to navigate through the next challenge.
Were you born ready to protect America, our environment, our resources, our people? Learn more at gocoastguard.com.
Sponsored by the United States Coast Guard in cooperation with the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, so I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
AM 1470, WNN. Listen live at wwnnradio.com and like us on Facebook. Search AM 1470, WWNN.
I try to fit in, but being made out of insects and bugs, it's not easy. They call me invasive species or hungry pests. Yeah, like I don't have feelers. I mean feelings. Sometimes I have to turn the other cheek, from the one made of flies to the one made of beetles. You should think of me as a culinary tourist. I'm just trying to eat my way through Florida. Your trees and crops, there's so much to tempt me. I manage, thanks to the people who help me get around, mostly on the things they move and pack. Hungry pests? Yeah, I'm hungry. Who can blame me? You do put out quite a spread. I'd ask you to join me for a bite, but there's really only enough for me.
Hungry pests are invasive insects and pests that threaten to devour Florida's trees and crops. It's up to each of us to leave hungry pests behind. Go to hungrypests.com and get the facts. That's hungrypests.com. A message from the USDA.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4 p.m. for the Forever Young Med Spa's Simple Aesthetics radio show with President and founder Ryan Sedella. Learn about what's hot and what's not with both surgical and non-surgical medical aesthetics and skin and body rejuvenation treatments for men and women.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local celebrity hosts Steve-O and Renee. Sit back each week while Steve-O and Renee educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O and Renee with today's expert in their field.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to another Ask the Experts, where we... Did I just say, well, we? Well, we bring...
Your mouth's not working.
You know what it is?
As long as your brain, yes. Is your brain working?
No, I'm intimidated. We have...
Because you have two beautiful women in studio. I have to add myself to that equation.
Okay, I do, but Renee and I do about 80 shows a week.
No, we don't.
Renee?
80 shows a week?
Yeah. We're in 10 different cities.
Okay,
Thank you.
But we don't host them ourselves.
But there are shows. But we have with us today, I love doing the show. We have the show that brings in more views on our website than
on Ustream,
any other
YouTube
show that we do.
Yes.
And we want to welcome Tina Lewert with Lewert Law. We're going to talk about family law today.
Welcome to the show, Tina.
Thank you. How are you guys doing?
You got you got a fan club now.
That's what.
Wow.
That's what you keep saying.
Well, tell people where they could go to watch the show today, because it's actually on a website.
Yes, you can go to Tina's website, watch us live right now. Maybe you can decide why we get so many numbers for Tina's show. It's www.lewert, it's spelled Lewert, law.com. Should I spell com for everybody?
No.
Okay. Hey, I'm Steve. Steve-O. God, this is crazy. I can't talk today. And my beautiful co-host, Renee. We're on every Monday from 4 to 5. And we're going to talk about family law.
Which is a huge topic because it affects everybody's or somebody that you know.
Everybody knows somebody.
But here's, I want everybody to understand that you might know somebody, you might have a family member who's maybe getting ready to go through divorce, or they're having problems with custody or something, and you just don't know who to hire, so you Google. God,
don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't.
It's a big mistake.
Tina actually
specializes. And she is the expert. We could actually say she's an expert and tell everybody why we could say that.
You can say that because I am board certified in marital and family law. So that is a designation given by the Florida Bar after rigorous testing, evaluation, peer recommendations, judicial recommendations, and ethical review. All kinds of things that we have to go through to become board certified. And what that means is that we can say that we are, I specialize or I'm an expert in that area of law. There are board certified attorneys in many different areas of law: criminal, civil trial work, adoption, estate work, I believe, trust and estates. So you can be board certified in any area of the law, but only, I believe, 6 or maybe it's 7% of all Florida attorneys are board certified in any area of the law. And
so that speaks volume.
It speaks volume.
Yes.
It means a lot. Yeah. And, I always tell people, board certification, it means you're an expert, and some people don't know, or they don't give any real weight to that. Well, attorneys know what they're doing. It's the equivalent. I always say, if you were having open heart surgery, would you go to someone who specializes in cardiothoracic surgery, or would you go to your general practitioner to do that?
That's a good analogy.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is, because when I say that, people say, "Oh, okay, I kind of see what you're saying." And especially what I do, family law, divorce law, all the things that are included in that area of law. There's some very intricate, very specific areas of the law, and it really requires some specialized knowledge and skill and experience to be a board certified practitioner in the area of law.
So when you
and
go
I
to
can
her
testify.
office,
Wait, I can testify because I told you, I've told you this time and time again, that I used an attorney for my divorce that did not specialize in family law.
Yeah,
it did not turn out too well.
You go in and you go, "Can I help you?" You say, "Yeah, family law." Okay, he's looking for his family law hat. Well, there's my criminal law hat.
He actually did
It's true.
business, family, criminal law.
And I told you what we call that.
A boutique.
No, it's door law. Anything that walks in the door.
I like that.
Yeah. But no, it's
all you do is family law.
All I do is family law, and I've been practicing law for I'm in my 15th year of practice. I've had my own practice, my own firm for 12 years, and all I've done in that time is family law.
What kind of pills do you take to look so young?
Oh, God.
I want some.
It's the camera.
So tell everybody, what's the process for filing for divorce in the state of Florida?
Sure. The process is generally when one party or the other, and it doesn't usually matter who, is ready to initiate the divorce process, you would file, typically through your attorney, file what's called a petition for dissolution of marriage. And that's the pleading that gets filed with the court. It gets served to the other party. It opens the case. They assign a case number. They assign a judge. And the petition for dissolution of marriage is going to generally lay out what the issues are, if there are children, what the length of the marriage was, if there's a claim for alimony, if there's a claim for attorney's fees, if there are assets and debts of the marriage that need to be divided, and just set forth what very generally what those issues are, and to put the court and the other party on notice as to what the issues are. And then along with that, typically there's some basic financial disclosure that's filed. The other party gets served with the initial documents, and then that party has 20 days to file an answer. Usually with the answer, they'd probably want to file a counter petition so that they are also asking for relief from the court. And within that, during that same time frame, within the first 45 days after service of the petition, both parties are gathering financial documents, financial disclosure. There's a list required by the Supreme Court rules of documents that the parties are required to exchange, and that's due usually 45 days after service of the petition. And those are the very, very basics. At some point in the case, there's going to be usually a mediation. Most of the Florida courts, especially certain counties, Palm Beach County is big on mediation. They'll require you to go to mediation automatically before you get in front of a judge on just about anything.
So to agree upon things before going to the courts.
To try to agree on things. Right. Yeah, to try to agree on things before going to the court.
Right.
So
they want you to make settlement efforts ongoing.
So Florida's a no-fault state. Now, when I got my divorce, I said it wasn't my fault.
Nothing's ever your fault. That's exactly it.
This is not the same, though, right? What does that mean, that this is a no-fault state?
What that actually means is, and a lot of people think that what's part of what's encompassed by that concept is that we can't punish our spouse for their bad behavior. But
why not?
I know. It's a good question. Good question. Because they have to live with themselves. But part of what that actually means, what no fault really means, is that Florida doesn't require grounds to file for divorce, to initiate a divorce. So, for example, there are others, and I always say this, I don't know if there are even any states left. I know New York used to be one, for example, that you had to prove adultery or abuse or certain things like that to
and then you
even
get
be able
more.
to file
like
for divorce.
Like in New York, if you said that your husband's having an affair, they actually award the wife more. So I think they cut that out, though.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure.
Florida doesn't really hang on to that concept. So yeah, basically all you need to do in Florida to get a divorce is in your initial pleading or in your counter petition, you're going to allege that the marriage is irretrievably broken, and that's a legal phrase. And what that means is that the marriage is over, and there's nothing the court can do to put it back together. And that's all you need to do. All you need to allege to get your divorce in Florida. No one's ever going to really ask. The judge would never really ask, why did this happen? Whose fault was it? Who wanted to work it out? Who didn't? Who wanted to go to counseling? Who didn't? Who walked out of counseling?
Easy. Yeah, they make it so easy now.
Yeah.
What should, we know the answer is you, but what should people look at in a divorce attorney?
What questions should people ask?
I think that one of the things you should ask is absolutely about the attorney's experience with family law. Maybe even something like the number of trials that they've had, complex family litigation, complex family law matters that they've tried before a judge. What percentage of their practice constitutes family law. And, I think people should really do their research. Don't just call one attorney, the first one that comes up on Google. Call 3 attorneys and talk to them or more. I've had people that'll say, hey, I talked to 12 attorneys before I hired you. Which,
wow.
That's a little excessive in my opinion. But, to talk to 3 or 5 people and, understand what the levels of experience are, understand even sometimes what some of the costs are, what the going rate is, what the range of going rates is, and if you have someone telling you that, oh, I can undercut that and I can do it for this very small fee and wrap it up quickly, that should be a huge red flag, because just like anything else, you get what you pay for. And I not that I recommend you going with the most expensive attorney out there, but there's a balancing there, and I think part of it has to do with the skill level and the experience level, but also you have to feel comfortable with the person. I mean, you're going to be, if you go to trial, especially, you're going to be working with this attorney a lot and spending a lot of time, and it's a very personal experience, and you're dealing with issues that are personal to your life, right? Emotional, personal issues. You need to feel comfortable with that person.
I don't see how you do it. Be honest.
Well, something, you don't have to Google. Because you could just, Tina, give out your phone number. That's a perfect lead-in.
Sure. The phone number is 561-544-6861.
But I was saying, you see hear a lot of sad stories. People come to your office and listen. Family laws, it's tough.
Well, there's money, finances, children involved.
Yeah, domestic violence. Absolutely.
Yes, and
it
you
is
handle
tough
that as well.
It is tough, and it's a good family law attorney's job to have a bit of a thick skin. You have to. I mean, we see these things every day. And, it's not our job. I mean, we care, you're a human being, but it's not our job to become emotional. It's our job to stay unemotional and stay out of that so that you can focus on what the law is and represent your client most effectively. But, it's not easy. But you know what? There are positive sides to it as well. I have so many people that file for divorce and they call me and they say, I've been in this marriage for X number of years or decades, and it was over years ago. It was over, and I've stayed, and I shouldn't have, and I hear a lot of regret and shoulda, woulda, coulda, and people who are ready finally to move on, and that's a happy thing.
Yes.
That's a very happy thing.
You know what, I hear so much, especially, I guess, from women. Gosh, my attorney screwed me. I ended up with nothing. So this is...
Hello.
But it's so important who the attorney is
Yes,
that you choose. That's
absolutely.
why we were so lucky to get somebody like Tina that this is all you do. This is what you specialize in.
Correct.
So it's like, this is the person you need to go to, and you don't have to worry about later on, I got screwed and I should have gotten more, because it's these attorneys that do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And the laws, the judges. I mean, this is all you do. Now, do you practice in Broward and Palm Beach both? Because I know your office is in Boca.
Primarily, my office is in Boca, primarily Palm Beach County, some in Broward, and occasionally other counties all around the state.
Martin County?
I've gone to Martin County.
Yes,
I've had cases in St. Lucie County. I have a case right now in Brevard County.
Brevard?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
That's a schlep.
Yeah, it's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people...
People heard about you.
Yeah, you know what? The guy felt comfortable. So,
isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So what happens if somebody wants to represent themselves? Would you recommend that?
You can do it. And I will be honest, I have spoken to people who call me on the phone, and occasionally, and I mean very occasionally, I'll say, listen, you can probably do this yourself, or you can at least get it started yourself. But that is so rare and really only applicable when you have, people have no assets. Yeah. They don't have children. I would never recommend representing yourself if you have children. These things are too important and too delicate, and the legalities and the intricacy of the law surrounding those issues is just too important to try and do it yourself. And people think it's simple, it's a form, and it's just not. It's not.
It's not.
No, there's way too much involved.
And something and as far as children are concerned, it used to be so different when I got divorced, as far as sharing time. And it's different than it was, because it used to be like the kids would go to the father on the weekend, and now it's like 50-50.
It's leaning toward that more than it ever has. And they changed the statutes a few years back. They changed the entire divorce chapter of the statutes to take out the word visitation. We used to call it visitation. Now we call it time sharing. They did that because
I like that better.
Yeah, most people do. It's the idea was that it's demeaning to a parent that they would visit with their child. You don't visit your child, you parent your child. So you share time, you're time sharing. So they also took out the word custody. So now basically no one has custody. You're just mother and your father. No one's custodial, non-custodial, or primary and secondary, because people would get hung up on those titles. And they would think that it meant that they're more of a parent than the other parents, and it's just not the case. The custodial thing was more about where the children are, the schedule, the time sharing schedule, and the presumption is for being equal parents, equal parental rights. So they took all those words out, and now we're just mother, father, and we figured out a schedule and go from there.
I love that.
Now, when I watch Lifetime, no, I'm just kidding. Let's go to break. We come back. We'll have more with attorney Tina Lewert.
Lewert Law Offices is proud to be the family law expert on the Ask the Expert show. Attorney Tina Lewert is a board-certified specialist in marital and family law. Attorney Lewert is committed to obtaining the best resolution for your divorce or other family law case by consistently providing skilled representation, expert legal advice, and personal attention. Attorney Lewert has developed an excellent reputation for providing effective divorce and family law representation in Boca Raton and the surrounding communities. Lewert Law Offices offers legal advice and representation in a wide range of family law matters, including divorce, child custody, time sharing and visitation, child support, alimony, complex asset distribution, post-judgment modifications, and paternity actions. For expert representation in all aspects of divorce and family law, contact Attorney Tina Lewert today at 561-544-6861 or visit www.lewertlaw.com.
And we're back. We're here with Attorney Tina Lewert. This is like one of our favorite shows. Actually, today we have our family law, and then the second half we
Two
have
of our favorite shows, yes.
foreclosure. They're just easy to do. I wish it was a happier subject. That's the only thing.
Well, it is happy if both parties want a divorce.
Exactly.
I have a big question. So how are assets divided? Because that's the biggest thing for people. And a lot of times people have to stay together because of the assets. You know, it's a hard thing.
A lot of times that's why people stay together
Yes.
and prolong the filing the divorce. Yeah, there's a presumption that the starting point for dividing assets and liabilities, debts, is 50-50. So 50-50 of the marital assets and liabilities. That means the assets that were accumulated during the marriage. And I'm really generalizing here. There's a lot to this. This is a very complex issue because there are exceptions to that. Like, if you get an inheritance during your marriage, or if someone gifts individually.
That's inheritance is not included in that. You don't split
So
that 50-50?
long as you keep it separate and you don't commingle it with marital assets, or you don't put it in joint names, or you don't put it into a marital asset, invest it into a marital asset, because then you have all kinds of issues about marital enhancement or unequal distribution of assets, not 50-50, and it can make it very complicated when you
That's
start doing
interesting.
that.
Okay.
Or like a gift, like what we call a non-interspousal gift, meaning not between the spouses. I give you, during your marriage, I give you a condo as a gift. Here you go.
You'd be my best friend.
Right. Yeah. Well, not only that, but yeah, your husband would be pretty pissed because it's not going to be a marital asset again, unless you somehow make a portion of it or all of it marital by putting his name on it.
And why would I do that?
People do.
I know.
People
That's what
do.
I'm saying.
I wanted to save this. We got an email last time. So I'm going to read it exact. It says, if I move out of my home and my spouse lives there while the divorce case is pending, have I abandoned any rights, or can my spouse claim I abandoned the home?
No.
Okay.
Very easy. Yeah. Yeah. That is such a
Common question.
I get that almost every phone call. Almost every phone call that I get, someone asks me that, and it's such a common question. And it's funny because they'll say, my friend or my whoever told me that I can't leave, I can't move out because it's abandonment.
Right.
And everyone seems to know this law, but it doesn't exist.
Somebody told me
in
that
Florida.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you move out, and sometimes I'll advise people to move out, to get out of the house, go sleep on someone's couch, because there's too much conflict, or there are especially if there's like a threat of violence. I mean, if there's a threat of violence, I tell the person, go file for a restraining order. But when it's like approaching that, where things are getting really tense and people getting in each other's face or something like that, and I'll hear these stories, and they'll say, go sleep on someone's couch, you're not going to lose your rights to the home that you would have otherwise been entitled to. You're not abandoning any property rights or anything like that. You're keeping yourself safe and keeping maybe maybe both parties from exposure to allegations or sometimes false allegations of domestic violence, and just things like that I've seen go way wrong. And
so if you file for a restraining order, that party has to leave.
If you file for a restraining order, and if the judge grants it,
right,
then the process is you go file for a restraining order, and you're asking for it to be granted on a temporary basis first, pending a hearing, which is set usually a couple weeks later.
Right.
So if they grant it on a temporary basis, they will. The sheriff will usually go serve that to the person and have them leave, take a few things with them, and leave.
Here's another question we got. Why don't you guys just call the show?
Or call Tina.
Are pensions or retirement program assets divided the same as other property?
Pensions or retirement program assets divided the same as other property? The general answer to that question is yes. And a lot of people don't know this one. If you have a 401k, you get married, a week later you start a new job. When you're eligible, you start participating in their 401k. You start making contributions. Your employer starts matching those contributions but that 401k is yours from your work in your name during your marriage. All of your contributions and all of the employer's matching and all of the appreciation, enhancement in value due to whatever market forces, it's all marital. So it's only half yours and subject to 50-50 division in a divorce. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. And that's a big reason, by the way, the pensions too. When I talk to the firefighters and the police officers and these guys,
so they have to split their pension
if it was accrued during any portion that was accrued during the marriage. Yeah.
Wow,
that's a big one. That's
huge.
A big reason that frankly a lot of people hold off on their divorce or never get one because they're trying to hold on to that pension. That's when I have to break the news to someone who's got that pension. Maybe they went into the job because it had a pension. They're like, what? How can that be? And that one I feel bad when I have to break that bad news that they have to split it with their spouse.
That's horrible. See, I don't think that's fair.
If you have a lot of assets and you're getting ready to file for divorce, don't go hire your golf buddy. I mean, seriously, he probably does Social Security law or something. Get somebody who knows what they're doing, especially when there's a lot of assets involved, because then there's a lot of work to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tina, tell everybody where you're located. Give everybody your address.
Sure. The office is located in East Boca. It's 301 Yamato Road in the Stonegate Bank building on the corner of Yamato and Dixie.
And your phone number, yes.
Phone number is 561-544-6861.
Okay, another big question that we always ask you, how is child support calculated?
Child support is based on a formula that we have in Florida, and it's interesting because I'll see cases from other states. It's different in different states, very different. Sometimes it's like a percentage of some states do still have primary, custodial rights and things like that, and sometimes it's like a percentage of this or that, or percentage of the guy's income or something. In Florida, it's based on the income of both parties. And
combined
together, and then how many children you have. And there's actually a chart in the statute. The Florida child support statute is 61.30, and there's a chart in there, and it kind of lays out what the basic child support is, and that number, whatever it is, based on X dollars a month, combined income of the parties, and how many children you have, that number is divided proportionally between the two parties. So if you're making 60% of the income and your spouse is making 40% of the income, you might have to pay 60% of that number. That's the basic formula. But then now what we do is there's an added deviation for the number of overnights that each party has with the children. So that's factored in as well. And
what happens if you're a stay-at-home mom? Because there are still a few of those.
Yeah, there are still a few of those. Well, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you end up having the majority of the time sharing, you're probably the other person's probably going to be the one who has to pay you. It just depends, though. It depends on, like I said, so many things. How much income, and just because you're a stay-at-home mom, you may choose to be a stay-at-home mom, but the judge might say, okay, but
that's not going to work anymore.
You could have a minimum wage job, so I'm going to assume that you have a minimum wage job and put that into the calculation. And she may never go get that minimum wage job, but she's going to have to, the child support's going to have to be calculated based on as though she did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how about alimony in the state of Florida?
How much more time do we have? That's
not much.
That's a complicated one. Alimony is a huge. It's a hot issue, and I don't know. A lot of people probably know there's this year and 2 years ago there was a bill, an alimony reform bill that was on the table, and for different reasons, both times didn't make it. So, but there is a cause to change the law and to develop a formula. We don't have a formula for alimony in Florida.
There's a lot of states that don't even have alimony anymore. Is that right?
There are a lot of states that don't have permanent alimony, and that's another thing.
Temporary.
I think. Yeah, a lot of people I think would like to do away with permanent alimony. Really, the way it is now, I mean, my personal opinion is, it is on a case by case basis. I think, the way that the law stands now, these judges know we live in 2015 and that most people work, and it's not the old fashioned, where it's a whole different ball game than, the husband going out and working and the wife staying home, and it's different. Even though that happens in a lot of cases, and that's fine, but it's just not the formula anymore for everyone's life. So, it's a very hot topic and a very controversial topic. But right now, alimony is very complicated and it's very discretionary. There are factors that the judge will look at to determine what the alimony should be. What are the financial resources of the parties? What's everybody's income? What are the assets that you're walking away from the divorce with? Are any of those assets income producing? What do you have to live on? And also things like, what's the length of the marriage? What were the contributions to the marriage by each party? And so on and so forth. There are a number of factors that play into it. But I always tell people alimony is really difficult, and it's one of the most commonly, if there's an issue to go to trial over, that's one of the biggest ones that I see, because you could put an alimony case in front of 3 different judges and potentially get 3 different outcomes, because it's so discretionary. One judge might see things one way, and one judge might see the case a different way, weighing those factors that are in the statute, and there's no mathematical formula. So it's complicated.
Well, Tina has taken time out of her busy schedule to educate our listeners. So now, tell us why someone should hire your firm.
Oh, my favorite question.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I know.
I hate this question. No, because I'm anyway.
But go ahead. This is your chance. I mean,
Sure. Well, what I always say is I think that, I told you about the board certification. I told you about the qualifications. You want to hire a lawyer who's got, a certain level of experience, a lot of trial experience. But also, I think that one of the things that I offer my clients, and I think why my clients hire me and feel comfortable with me, is because I have a very balanced approach. Yes, I can go to trial. I've had many divorce trials. I'm in front of the judges. The judges know me. They know that I come in prepared. I have a good reputation in the community as a trial lawyer. But if there's a balancing there where if the case is a case that shouldn't go to trial, you don't want to spend the money on this case. You don't have the money to spend on this case. This can be settled. This can be resolved. I will counsel my clients that way, and I really try.
Unlike some other attorneys that might say, let's go to trial to take somebody's money, you're at least honest and you care about your clients, which is a big thing, to have some compassion for your clients.
Easier for you to say.
Yes.
Hey, we got to get out of here. Give everybody your phone number.
Sure. The phone number is 561-544-6861.
And Tina's with us every month. She'll be back next month to talk more about family law. Thank you so much. We love
Thank
having
you
on the
guys.
show. And we're going to go to break. When we come back, we've got Gil Bilu of Bilu Law talking about foreclosure.
We'll be right back.
Lewert Law Offices is proud to be the family law expert on the Ask the Expert show. Attorney Tina Lewert is a board-certified specialist in marital